As multimedia entertainment skyrockets in popularity, more film companies than ever are uniting with computer developers to create movies and interactive games together. Celebrating with fanfare worthy of the hit film itself, Disney and Virgin Interactive Entertainment have just released the Lion King video game. It's the first time a movie-based video game has been released while the film is still playing in the theaters.
In the past, it's always been the movie's been released and maybe a year later you start working on interactive games. In this particular case, I think the production paths were almost parallel. So we were trying to create sequences from the film, and they were saying, well, we don't know yet. We're starting right in the middle of it as well.
This game was very challenging because we really wanted to meet the quality standard and the naturalistic standard of the film, the style of the movie, the style of the backgrounds, the story that's in the film. We wanted to try to get in the video game.
The game developers were also inspired by the film, especially the main character, Simba, the lion cub.
One of the first things we realized was that we could use the story of the movie in the video game directly, because this was a hero's journey, and it's all about Simba's trials and tribulations through a variety of environments. We have voices from James Earl Jones, Jeremy Irons, Cheech Marin, and Jonathan Taylor Thomas. So there's a great correlation between seeing the movie and playing the game.
The characters in the game were all drawn by Walt Disney feature animation artists in Orlando, Florida.
We do the animation the same way we would do a feature animated film, which is one drawing at a time for each of the characters. It's all hand-drawn. It's all done by animators and animation teams. Everybody brings a lot of different ideas, and everything is wide open.
Animating a four-legged animal is challenging, especially an interactive character who must respond instantly to a variety of commands.
The cat, if he jumps in midair, wouldn't all of a sudden jump and turn the other way. He'd have some actions where he turns around. Physics would carry him a certain way. So we have to make these things appear to happen instantly and still apply the same sort of naturalistic feel that the film has.
The young Simba has the fluffy paws that they're consistently flopping around. He's happy-go-lucky and playful. So I try to incorporate that attitude into the game. As he ages, he moves slower. You have this 400-pound animal now, so you have to consider the weight. We try to watch animal gestures and try to incorporate that into our drawings, and yet put a little bit of ourselves into the drawing too.
After Disney perfects each frame of moving animation, the drawings are sent to Westwood Studios, where their artists scan them into computers, then colorize and size them to the game's dimensions.
The environments that you see are actually a very technical and very creative process. A computer background artist uses small squares or blocks of patterns to create the images you see on the video game. The individual squares are put together in hundreds of different combinations to build the natural-looking world you see Simba in.
Of course, what ties all the animation together is Simba's story.
There are 10 unique levels in the game, and they're designed to explore Simba's maturation from cub to adult. You start off with Simba sort of bouncing around as a little cub, but that's just where the fun begins, because then you get to play an adult lion. As an adult lion, he's a very formidable creature.
There are two bonus rounds in this game, one where you play Timon and one where you play Pumbaa. In the film, there's a great sequence where they're eating bugs, and it's sort of gross, but it's sort of funny. So we really try to focus the bonus rounds in the game on Timon and Pumbaa eating bugs.
It's very fast-paced. There's different characters to play, different experiences, new levels, new graphics, and every time you play the game, you'll find something different. In the elephant graveyard level of the game, there's a skull that is right out of the movie. So kids will say, wow, look at that. I'm not just watching a game, I'm playing the movie.
We're excited about the Stampede because it's told from a totally different perspective. Young Simba is running directly at the camera with the wildebeest behind them. It gives the player a chance to become Simba.
Both feature films and Westwood worked really hard to give each of the enemies a lot of character. The hyenas especially can jump and snarl and snap and do just a million different things, and it's all very, very beautifully articulated through the Disney animation. It ends in this climactic battle at the top of Pride Rock with the Pride Lands burning below, lightning striking from above. All the while there's Scar trying desperately to defeat him and retain control over the Pride Lands.
The process we've gone through the Lion King game is really the same as any production. Because you're trying to do something unique and it's never been done before and you can't draw from anybody's experience. It's creative chaos, but the final result is for every part of that process, there are bits of magic that are dripping down, and it's our jobs to sort of catch all that stuff and collect it to make sure that none of it's lost and it's always there to be built on and preserved. And ultimately, that's what makes a difference on that final project.
There he is. He throws bugs down.
Also, there's a little movement on the head, very subtle.
the process we've gone through the Lion King game is really the same as any production. You know, you have the point in production where I think it becomes so hectic, and everybody is really trying to solve so many problems because you're trying to do something unique and it's never been done before, and you can't draw from anybody's experience. And there's a point in time when you just think there's no way it's going to come together. And then in the final months, all of a sudden, all the work you've done really comes together. Everybody gels. Everybody just starts to see exactly what you've created, and it's creating something new. And you look at it and you say, boy, it really has a life to its own. The real distinction between Disney characters is that they are created as devices for storytelling. I mean, and by doing that, they have distinct personalities. And within a story, they have a whole range of personalities, so they complement each other as well as contrast each other. And so there's a great deal of thought and work in the development of the personality of each character in there. And then what our job was in this particular game was to make sure that those personalities were built on but maintained. The process we go through is there's really two parts of the team, really. There's the programming and game design, which these people are experts in that field, and ourselves, which are filmmakers and animators. And we had to sort of synthesize what we all know as being the correct way to do things and sort of meet halfway. It's creative chaos is what it is, but the final result is that for every part of that process, there are bits of magic that are dripping down, and it's our jobs to sort of catch all that stuff and collect it to make sure that none of it's lost, and it's always there to be built on and preserved, and ultimately that's what makes a difference on the final project.
What's exciting about working on a video game is that it gives the player a chance to become Simba, to see the character on a big screen in a film, but play him in the environment that's very much like the film in the game, and to act out sort of Simba's role in the film just like it is in the video game. The story that's in the film, we wanted to try to get in the video game. That Simba goes on a journey and learns responsibility and has to overcome obstacles and surpass them in order to meet his goal of winning back Pride Rock. All those things that are in the film, we wanted to try to get in the video game. In the beginning of the video game, you play a young cub, Simba, and he is really exploring this world of the South African pridelets, and he's trying to survive among the other animals that are there. And then later in the game, in the latter levels, you play adult Simba, and you're now really taking control, aggressively moving through the game to finally confront Scar and win the game. To make this character as interactive as he needs to be able to respond very quickly and to really feel like he's thinking. And what's difficult about that is you want that instantaneous response, but a cat, if he jumps in midair, wouldn't all of a sudden jump and turn the other way. He'd have some actions where he turns around. Physics would carry him a certain way. So we have to make these things appear to happen instantly and still apply the same sort of naturalistic feel that the film has. There are also two characters in the film, Timon and Pumbaa, that we tried to incorporate in the game as the bonus rounds and really try to introduce a lot of humor from Timon and Pumbaa. In the film, there's a great sequence where they're eating bugs, and that's their diet. And it's sort of gross, but it's sort of funny. So we really try to focus the bonus rounds in the game on Timon and Pumbaa eating bugs.
We try to watch animal gestures and try to incorporate that into our drawings, keep it as naturalistic as so people can read it. This is the way an animal would actually do this, and yet put a little bit of herself into the drawing too. Well, I think the biggest challenge in drawing a four-legged character is just trying to deal with which paw is going to affect the one behind his back legs, as opposed to if his right paw is touching, how's that going to affect his left back foot or something. So it's especially in a run when you're trying to make this guy run, which feet are hitting, which is it 3 legs at a time or 4 legs, and so that created the biggest challenge, just trying to think of which foot is to keep the character balanced. The young Simba has the fluffy paws that they're consistently flopping around. As an adult, he moves slower, and so you have to think you have this 400-pound animal now that's moving around as opposed to this little cub. So you have to consider the weight now.
To actually be able to use Disney's animators' work in the game, we had to somehow take those drawings that exist on paper that would normally be shot from a camera and put them into the video game. Now, the way we did that is through a process called the Digicel process, which we first used in Aladdin. So basically, the drawings are captured through a scanning device and put into the computer. They're then sent to us electronically through the phone lines, and the people on our end, our animators, color the individual frames and use custom software to shrink the drawings down so that they can be the right size and the right color for video games. There are 10 unique levels in the game, and they're specifically designed to explore Simba's maturation from cub to adult. So the first 6 levels of the game are all about learning to be Simba and this young, agile lion cub. The last 4 levels are all about learning how to fight and use the power that's inherent in an adult lion to regain control of his throne. Disney supplied to us samples from the movie of many famous actors that played and worked in Lion King. We have voices from James Earl Jones, Jeremy Irons, Cheech Marin, and Jonathan Taylor Thomas. It's really great because the video game is actually the same clips from the movie, so there's a great correlation between seeing the movie and playing the game.
One of the things that I like about the game is that it's always different. It's very fast-paced. There's different characters to play, different experiences, new levels, new graphics, and every time you play the game, you'll find something different. One of the things that we do is we look at the movie and find what kinds of things really stand out. In the elephant graveyard level of the game, there's a skull that is right out of the movie, and if you've watched the movie, you'll notice right away this is just the same thing. So kids will say, wow, look at that. I'm not just watching a game, I'm playing the movie.
Ladies and gentlemen, the producer of Beauty and the Beast and Disney's latest animated feature, Lion King, Don Hahn.
Good morning. It is a pleasure to be here with you today to celebrate the Lion King. You know, there's a wonderful saying about animation and about animators that what animators don't move drawings, they move people. And I think you can see why we're excited about the Lion King and about the potential of animation to stir the soul and to actually move people. We're in the middle of a wonderful renaissance of animation right now. Films like Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin have kind of redefined animation for a generation. And our audience really has rediscovered animation as well. If you remember when Snow White was released in 1937, the audience accepted Snow White as though it were a mainstream film. And I think what you're seeing now is people going back to the theater to enjoy animation, not just to drop their kids off, but to enjoy it as a family. It's for the kid in all of us. Well, Lion King is a departure for us in many ways, and I suppose one of the biggest departures is it's an original story. It's about growing up. It's about coming of age. It's about that day in all of our lives when we have to grow up. Unfortunately, for most of us in animation, we haven't really reached that day yet, so it's all kind of conjecture on our part. Even though it's an original story, it's based on many things. You'll notice resonance of Hamlet, the tortured character dealing with the death of his father. A little bit of Old Testament Bible story thrown in, Moses or Joseph, about the noble young prince who has to grow up in exile and return to conquer his kingdom. A little bit of King Arthur thrown in, kind of Moses, Joseph, Hamlet, King Arthur, meet Elton John in Africa. Our story starts with Simba, our hero of our hero's journey. He learns all about the wisdom of being king, about the nobility of being king from his father, King Mufasa. But Simba has an evil uncle named Scar who wants to be king too, and Scar plots to kill Mufasa and Simba so that he can be king. And he does in a terrible stampede. King Mufasa is killed and Simba's driven off, left for dead, far away from home, lost and alone in the inhospitable wastes, where he's rescued by an unlikely pair of a flatulent warthog named Pumbaa and a fast-talking meerkat named Timon. Meerkats, if you remember, are kind of the prairie dogs of Africa, known for their uncanny ability to perform elaborate musical numbers on the Serengeti. So Simba grows up in exile, far from his family, and as an adult, he's tortured somehow about the loss of his father and about him dropping out of life, until one day his father's spirit appears to him and says, Simba, you must take your place in the circle of life. You must remember who you are. And so he gets the message and returns to his family, returns to his home, and takes his place as the Lion King. These films in themselves are kind of heroes' journeys in the making of these films. It took about 600 artists spread out over 4 years' time on 3 continents. We have a studio in Los Angeles, in Florida, of course. We recorded music and dialogue in New York and London, and for the first time we went to South Africa and recorded extensive portions of our soundtrack in Africa. When you see the film, you're seeing about 120,000 frames of film that have been labored over to create The Lion King. It represented a challenge in another way for us too, because for the first time we had to deal with a story that was complete allegory. There's no humans whatsoever in The Lion King. Even Bambi had kind of man in the forest. So for us it was a real challenge. One of the animators came up to me one day and said, well, how do you expect us to do this? Because all of our characters are naked with no opposable thumbs. I don't understand how we're going to make it. But we brought in lions. We had Jim Fowler, who you remember from Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom, came in and brought lions into the studio. And we sent animators to Africa to be inspired by the landscape and the culture. And the result, I think, is a sense of power and nobility, not only of lions, but of Africa and of kind of a sense of place and being of this primal, wonderful place to tell the story of the Lion King. Lion King also represented a possibility to bring together a rather diverse, spectacular cast of voice actors. You haven't lived until you've been in a recording studio with Jeremy Irons, Whoopi Goldberg, and Cheech Marin performing a scene together. It's quite extraordinary. It's also a film of innovation. Each of these films, and we do stand on the shoulders of our previous films, but Lion King in particular represents tremendous effort by our computer graphics artists. For the first time, a generation of animators can come to work, and some pick up a pencil in the morning, some pick up a paintbrush, and others pick up a mouse and a keyboard and express themselves with a computer. Musically, The Lion King was a departure for us too, working for the first time with singer, songwriter, rock star Elton John and Academy Award-winning lyricist Tim Rice. And the score is something we're particularly proud of. Hans Zimmer, whose work you know from films like Backdraft and Thelma and Louise and Driving Miss Daisy and Rain Man, crafted a beautiful African score to complement the storytelling of the film. So as you can see, it's not just about making drawings move, but it really is about moving people and stirring the spirit. And today's a really important day for us because as we speak, and in the next few hours, The Lion King unfolds in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of theaters across America, and people for the first time across North America will get an opportunity to go see this film that's been 4 years in the making. There's a character I haven't really talked about in The Lion King, and he is a mentor. We all have mentors and characters, people in our lives who show us our way and our place in the circle of life. And in The Lion King, Simba's mentor is a wise, old, mystic shaman baboon named Rafiki, and he's here today. So ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Rafiki.
Asante sana squash banana, wewe nugu mimi hapana. Asante sana squash banana, wewe nugu mimi hapana. Oh, hello there, everyone. And welcome to the Pride Lands, home of the Lion King. I am Rafiki, which means friend in Swahili. Now, friends, I know why you're all here today, but do you? To eat the free food? I was right. You don't even know why you're here, but old Rafiki knows. You repeat after him. Asante sana. Ooh, that wasn't too impressive, was it? Let's try again. Asante sana. Much better. Asante sana. Squash banana. I look like a big iguana. I thought you were all looking a little green around the gills. Squashed banana for breakfast. Oh, can't go yet. There's something new to show you. Shh, shh, it's a secret.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the man who just can't wait for us all to play the video game, Jeffrey Katzenberg, the chairman of the Walt Disney Studios.
Good morning, Rafiki. This is little Simba. He's 6 weeks old and very frisky. Yeah, say good morning. There we go. As Walt Disney said, it all started with a mouse, and I think maybe this one started with a little guy like this, a wonderful little lion cub. When we first saw one of these animals, we were struck by their beauty, their majesty, their nobility. And we were excited about the idea of telling a story about a lion's journey from a cub like this to adulthood. And so began our journey to tell that story. Hi, Simba. Can't imagine how much pressure that is. The story we came up with isn't just about lions, though. It's about that defining moment everyone must face in their lives, the moment when we cross the bridge from childhood to adulthood and go on to assume responsibility for who we are. 4 years and over 1 million drawings later, we have The Lion King. For 1 week, the film has been playing to packed theaters in New York and Los Angeles, and from all reports, audiences are coming away enthusiastic about many things in the film. The animation, the characters, the humor, the music, and the magnificent African setting. All of these elements combine to tell Simba's story in the movie. And we're using all of these elements to tell his story in the game.
Well, it's about time. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and wondering when you'd get here. Don't like tardiness. If you're tardy, Mr. God. Hey, why are you here anyway?
I knew I should have left the skydiving to Richard Branson.
Ladies and gentlemen, Martin Alper, the president and CEO of Virgin Interactive Entertainment.
Thank you.
And I just want to say that under Martin's leadership, Virgin has been a phenomenal partner in working together with us to develop the Lion King game. So Martin, please give us, all an idea of what we've got coming for them, for what we've got coming for the people in this coming fall. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Morning. Thank you all for giving up your precious time, power breakfasts, and beauty sleep to join us in our proud pride. This time last year, I stood on a similar Chicago podium with Jeffrey to launch Aladdin, the Sega Genesis video game. Now we have returned, this time with our new friend, Simba the Lion Cub. Now I know exactly what Disney meant by the clause in your contract. We are here today to preview the results for second collaboration between Disney and Virgin, the results of which is a video game that will take us all to a significantly higher level. Lion King. In an increasingly violent and disillusioned world, the fundamental values and acute narrative that run through this stunning animated motion picture speak loudly to its audience. And from this powerful and emotive cinematic adventure, Virgin and Disney have been able to distill the essence of the movie into an extraordinary gaming experience. In bringing this video game to fruition, the smooth and seamless integration of Disney's feature animation group, Disney Software, and Virgin Interactive Entertainment presented a formidable challenge. This task was made all the easier by one common goal: excellence. And whilst this isn't the Academy Awards ceremony, I would still like to acknowledge two key people without whose commitment and skills this project would not have reached the heights it has. Mark Terham from Disney Software and Lewis Castle from Virgin Westwood Studios. Thank you both very much. The Lion King is positioned to become the must-have game for Christmas on both Sega and Nintendo platforms. Now, to make sure that everybody gets this message, Virgin is committed to an $8 million worldwide marketing and promotional budget covering the final quarter of this year. The majority of this spend will be on a TV commercial campaign, but also look for highly innovative print and promotional components. In Europe, the games will be launched simultaneously with the theatrical release of the movie. Now, Paris, Hamburg, and London offices will provide an unprecedented level of marketing support to back our European retailers. On the same day, the North American rollout will take place with equal razzmatazz. Just as the game sets a new standard in innovation, our marketing efforts will sound as loudly as the drums of Africa, and the message they will carry will be as clear: the Lion King has arrived. Thank you very much.
Wow, they are really great. Quiet, subtle, all before 9 o'clock in the morning. Now, as I was saying, the Lion King game may be a different form of entertainment than the movie, but in its heart, it's still the same animal. The story, the animation, the characters, the music, the humor, and the exotic setting will all be there. But this time, the audience will get to take part. This is how the Aladdin game was created. The elements that made the movie unique were also designed into the game. The result was a game that was the sales champ last Christmas and is now projected to sell over 3.5 million units worldwide. Part of this success was due to the quality of the game, but a very large part of it was also due to the incredible support many of you in this room threw behind Aladdin last year, and we thank you for that. If the Aladdin game was good, we want the Lion King game to be great. As with the film, the game will begin in the colorful and carefree world of young Simba, who frolics among his friends in the animal kingdom. Then in each successive level, Simba will acquire new skills and knowledge as the overall tone of the game becomes more serious. He must escape the hyenas in the elephant graveyard and avoid being trampled by wildebeests, who, as in the film, are seen charging not across the screen, but directly at us. Halfway through the game, the Simba sprite will actually transform from a cub to a full-grown lion. People have been amazed at how cat-like Simba is in the film. He isn't some anthropomorphic cartoon. He is a lion. The same will be true of the Simba sprite. It is a realistic, four-legged character, a cat who can pounce, leap, slash, snarl, and roar. The sprite will be the centerpiece of an unprecedented diversity of gameplay. The adventure begins in an action platform style of game. It then evolves level by level, ultimately becoming a proscenium-based battle-type game. As in the movie, Simba returns to the Pride Lands for a climactic one-on-one confrontation with Scar. In order to be victorious, players will have to learn how to move and behave like a lion, not a human. This will be a unique challenge that should be fresh and appealing to even the most experienced game players. To help tell the story, the Lion King game will feature 50% more animation and 50% more backgrounds than were in the Aladdin game. Over 2,000 original cells are being created expressly for the game. And a new rendering process is being used which gives the characters a three-dimensional quality that makes them come to life in the interactive environment. Comedy and music will be a major element in the game, just as they were in the film. That comic relief will be performed by that wild vaudeville team, Pumbaa and Timon. During the bonus rounds, players will get to join this duo in gathering up and snacking on some delectable bugs. And in what may be a video first, the composer of the film's score, Hans Zimmer, has agreed to reorchestrate the score and compose additional music specifically for the game. This is one video game where the players won't just see the difference, they'll hear the difference.
Oh well, time is up. Must be going. Asante sana swash banana we nu mimi apa. Asante sana swash banana we.
You wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you.
Rafiki, you've just helped to introduce the new Lion King game to the people here at CES. What are you going to do now?
What? I'm going to pry the rock. Where are you going? Kind of question is that? Where else would I be going? You see, you, me, everybody, we're all part of the great circle of life that must be kept in balance so we all can survive. And whose responsibility is it to say that the circle of life stays in balance? Yours, and yours, and even yours. It's everybody's responsibility, no matter what you are born to be. Now me, I'm a baboon, but I'm not too sure about the rest of you. Are you?
From the day we arrive on the planet and blinking step into the sun, there's more to see than can ever be seen, more to do than can ever be done. There's far too much to take in here, more to find than can never be found. But the sun rolling high through the sapphire sky keeps great and small on the endless round. It's the circle of life, and it moves